Granny of the Galaxy Part 1, The Wrong Conference. Chapter 1, The Wrong Queue. Mabel Kensington had survived many queues in her life. Ration lines, post office counters, and that one unforgettable afternoon in 1978 when she queued 6 hours for a toaster that still burnt everything but her patience. But none of those prepared her for this one. It stretched across the Kent Convention Center car park like a human centipede made of glitter, latex, and questionable decision-making. People wore cloaks, horns, and at least 3 tail varieties. Someone had painted themselves entirely blue, and another man, she prayed it was a man, was wrapped head to toe in silver duct tape, claiming to be a cyber prophet. Mabel clutched her tote bag tighter, the one she'd brought for what she thought was the annual communion conference and fellowship lunch. Well, she muttered to herself, these people seem rather enthusiastic about Holy Communion. She checked the flyer again. Kent Comic-Con. Oh, for heaven's sake. I thought it said communion. The print was small, and her glasses were somewhere between the biscuit tin and oblivion. Still, she'd come all this way, and there was a faint smell of coffee in the air. That, at least, was holy. A young woman with a neon pink wig and a bodysuit that could only be described as aspirationally confident turned around in line. First time? First and last, said Mabel briskly. I only came for the free tote bag. Oh my God, same, the woman laughed. Well, not the free tote. I'm here for the celebrity meet and greet. Zorblax the Conqueror's voice actor is signing. Zorblax, Mabel repeated, tasting the syllables as if they were an unpleasant medicine. Is that a bishop? The woman blinked. No, he's the ruler of the Andromeda Quadrant. Lovely, Mabel said. I once ruled a church bake sale, until Barbara Fleming sabotaged my Victoria sponge. The line shuffled forward. A group of teenagers behind her were arguing over which phase of something called the Marvel Cinematic Universe was superior. Mabel tried to follow, but gave up somewhere between Quantum Realm and Thanos' glove thing. She sighed. People used to discuss scripture and jam recipes. Now it's Infinity Stones. At that moment, a young man with a camera stumbled backward, nearly tripping over her trolley bag. Watch where you're filming, Mabel barked. Sorry, ma'am. He grinned apologetically. Just capturing some crowd shots. The costumes are unreal. They certainly are, Mabel said, eyeing a woman dressed as what appeared to be a seductive badger. I'm Cal, the man said. I'm shooting a short doc about fandom culture. You here for the convention? Not intentionally. He laughed, assuming she was joking. That's brilliant. Mind if I interview you? I beg your pardon? Just a quick bit for my channel, he said, already pointing the camera at her. What do you think of Comic-Con so far? I think, said Mabel, squinting at the lens, that grown adults should stop dressing like exploding parsnips and get proper jobs. Cal's eyebrows shot up. That's quite a take. And another thing, she added, warming up. If your outfit requires a glue gun and a therapist, it's not a hobby, it's a cry for help. A few heads turned. A man holding a plastic sword began recording her on his phone. Cal tried not to laugh. So you're not a fan of cosplay? I don't even know what that is, Mabel said, but it sounds like a new brand of suppository. Laughter rippled through the queue. Someone yelled, Say it again, Granny! I'm nobody's granny, she huffed. Except Nigel's, and he's a disappointment. The laughter grew louder. Cal couldn't believe his luck. This was gold. He followed as she shuffled forward, muttering about space perverts and inflatable trousers of sin. The security guard at the entrance, Raj, his badge red, looked conflicted. Ticket, madam? I've got a flyer, Mabel said, handing over the communion conference leaflet. Raj blinked. This is for a church event. So is this not it? No, madam. This is Comic-Con. Is that near the communion one? Raj hesitated. Opposite side of the city, I think. Oh, splendid, she said flatly. Do I look like I can sprint to salvation? Raj smiled awkwardly. Tell you what, madam, I'll let you in for a bit. Just, don't touch the props. Props? The weapons, madam. I've already survived marriage, she said. I'll manage. Inside, the hall was a fever dream of neon lights and noise. Booths selling plastic swords, alien masks, and t-shirts that screamed nerd pride stretched in every direction. Mabel's expression resembled that of a cat accidentally locked in a rave. She passed a man in a cape shouting about multiverses, a woman balancing 3 foam tentacles, and a child dressed as a small meteor. Every 10 steps, someone shouted, "Free poster!" and she grabbed one, thinking they were raffle leaflets. By aisle 7, she had collected enough to wallpaper her bungalow. Cal trailed behind, still filming. Mabel, how are you finding the experience? It's like being trapped in the fever dream of a sewing machine, she said. Brilliant line, Cal murmured, already uploading a clip to his account. They paused by a stall selling toy ray guns. Mabel picked one up, examined it, then pointed it at Cal. Pew, she said. Does nothing. It's for show, he said. Then it's like most men I've met. Cal choked with laughter. An hour later, Mabel found herself sitting on a folding chair near a robot replica, sipping tea from her thermos. A crowd had gathered, whispering, laughing, and occasionally cheering. She assumed it was for the robot. In reality, it was for her. Cal's upload, titled Granny vs. Comic Con, She's Savage, had already gone viral. By the time she finished her tea, millions had watched her rant. Back in line, the woman in the neon wig pointed at her phone. Oh my God, it's you, Granny of the Galaxy! Mabel frowned. What galaxy? I live in Maidstone. You're trending. I beg your pardon, I haven't moved all afternoon. No, online, you're famous. Mabel blinked. Oh, wonderful. That's all I needed. Fame at 82. Do they give pensions for that? Raj reappeared, looking nervous. Madam, Streamflix just called. They want to know if you'll do an interview. Stream what? Netflix, basically. Oh, Mabel said. Do they have tea? Cal beamed. Mabel, you've gone viral. I've had worse. And with that, she sipped the last of her lukewarm tea, glanced around the hall of chaos and costumes, and muttered the words that would later headline thousands of memes. If this is the galaxy, I want my planet back. The crowd roared with laughter, and Mabel, though she'd never admit it, smiled. Somewhere deep down, beneath the cardigans and arthritis cream, something stirred. For the first time in a long time, the world was looking at her. And not with pity, but with delight. She didn't know it yet, but Granny of the Galaxy had just been born. And she was about to make the universe her parish. Chapter 2. The Ticket Tangle. Mabel Kensington had faced many bureaucratic nightmares in her life. The post office queue of '96, the great TV license debacle of 2004, and once, the sheer terror of trying to renew her bus pass online. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared her for the Comic-Con ticket booth. The line snaked through a hall of flashing lights and foam weapons. Teenagers wearing capes were taking selfies with stormtroopers, while a group of adults argued passionately about whether a wizard could beat a space bounty hunter in a fight. Mabel thought they all needed therapy. She adjusted her handbag strap, approached the counter, and peered up at the young man behind the glass. He wore a lanyard that said volunteer, and the slightly haunted expression of someone who had been explaining the difference between pre-booked wristbands and on-site passes since sunrise. Good morning, Mabel said crisply. I'm here for the communion conference. He blinked. I think you mean Comic-Con. I do not, she said, producing her crumpled flyer. But seeing as I've come this far, I might as well make the best of it. 1 ticket, please. Pensioner's rate. There isn't a senior discount, he said apologetically. No senior discount? Her voice rose like a hymn hitting its 3rd verse. You mean to tell me you'll charge me the same as someone wearing a cardboard box on their head pretending to be a toaster? That's actually a character from CyberQuest 3000, the volunteer said nervously. Is he 65? No, ma'am. Then he can afford it. The boy hesitated. The ticket's £40. 40! She spluttered. For that, I expect communion wine and a biscuit platter." Before he could respond, a stormtrooper stepped forward from the queue behind her, gleaming in white plastic armor and holding a prop blaster. "Ma'am, could you move aside? Some of us have been waiting for the 11 a.m. meet and greet." Mabel turned slowly, like a battleship changing course. "Young man, I fought in queues before you were born. I'll move aside when justice is served." "Justice?" the stormtrooper said, muffled through his helmet. "Yes. A senior discount. I'm a veteran of the Sainsbury's self-checkout wars." The stormtrooper crossed his arms. "Tickets are standard rate, no exceptions." Mabel eyed him critically. "Do you work here?" "No, I'm just..." "Then why are you speaking to me through a colander, Gerald?" "It's a helmet, and my name's not Gerald." "Well, it should be," she said. "You look like a Gerald." By now, the volunteer was covering his mouth, trying not to laugh. A small crowd had formed, phones out, recording the spectacle. Mabel was dimly aware that Cal, the young filmmaker from earlier, had reappeared, camera already rolling. "Granny's back!" someone shouted. Mabel ignored them. "Now listen here," she said to the stormtrooper. "When I was your age, we respected our elders. We didn't charge them £40 to walk into a room full of sweaty men in spandex." The stormtrooper stiffened. "Ma'am, this armor is ventilated." "Then so is your argument," she retorted. Cal tried to intervene. "Mabel, maybe we should just..." "Don't you Mabel me," she said. "I'm making a stand, a discounted stand." The volunteer finally managed to speak between laughter. "Tell you what, ma'am, I'll give you a complimentary guest pass. Just, please, don't start a rebellion." "Too late," said the stormtrooper dryly. "She already did." "Thank you," Mabel said, tucking the pass into her cardigan pocket with a triumphant sniff. "Justice prevails. Now, Gerald, you can carry my tote bag." "I'm not..." She thrust it into his gloved hands anyway. "Careful with the biscuits. They're chocolate digestives. National treasure." The crowd cheered. Someone shouted, "Granny for president!" Another yelled, "She's a Jedi of sass!" Cal whispered, "Mabel, this is gold. You're trending again." "I told you before," she said. "I'm not contagious." As they walked deeper into the convention, Mabel's temporary peace was shattered by a blaring announcement. "Attention attendees, the 11:15 cosplay parade will begin shortly. Please assemble near the main stage." "What's a cosplay parade?" she asked. "Basically," Cal said, "everyone shows off their costumes. It's like a catwalk for nerds." "Lovely," Mabel said. "I'll find a seat. My knees are about to declare independence." They reached the stage area where hundreds of costumed fans gathered. Mabel spotted her new nemesis, the stormtrooper, polishing his blaster. "Oh, not him again," she muttered. "Maybe just let it go," Cal suggested gently. "I'll let it go when pensioners can attend space conventions without bankruptcy." The announcer's voice boomed. "Next up, the Star Warriors group." Dozens of stormtroopers marched onto the stage, identical and self-important. One of them tripped over a loose cable and fell flat, like a toppled fridge. The crowd gasped. Mabel chuckled. "See? That's what happens when you ignore your elders." Cal was still filming. "Mabel, can you give a quick reaction for the vlog?" "Reaction?" she said. "Fine. Put this on your internet thing. Gravity always wins." He grinned. "Brilliant." As they made their way toward a nearby tea stand, the only civilized corner of the convention, Mabel caught her reflection in a mirrored booth selling helmets. Her hair was disheveled, her cardigan askew, her expression equal parts disbelief and amusement. She'd been mistaken for a celebrity, argued with a man dressed as a fascist appliance, and somehow acquired a complimentary ticket to something she didn't understand. And yet, she was smiling. Properly smiling. Maybe, she thought, there was something rather freeing about a place where everyone was ridiculous. Where nobody cared how old you were, as long as you joined the madness. "Cal," she said suddenly, "what exactly do these people see in all this?" He paused. "Hope, I think. Escapism. The idea that even the most ordinary person can do something extraordinary. She said. And do they really believe that? Sometimes. She looked around at the crowd, the laughter, the bright lights, the sense of shared absurdity. Maybe they're not so different from church people after all, she murmured. At least they dress up for the occasion. Cal chuckled. So you're enjoying yourself then? Don't be daft. But I will say this. She nodded toward the stormtrooper who'd just dropped her tote bag and crushed a biscuit underfoot. If that Gerald fancies another argument, I'm ready. Another one? Cal said. Yes, this time about VAT on merchandise. Mabel, you're unstoppable. Correction, she said, squaring her shoulders. I'm retired, which means I've got all day. The camera rolled as she marched back toward the stormtrooper, waving her free guest pass like a flag of victory. And somewhere in the crowd, someone whispered, "There she is, Granny of the Galaxy." This time, Mabel heard it. And for the first time in years, she didn't mind being the center of attention. If the galaxy wanted a granny, she thought, it might as well have the best one. Chapter 3. Tea, Toast, and Tights. Mabel Kensington believed that tea could solve nearly anything, except, perhaps, Comic-Con. After an hour of wandering through stalls that looked like a cross between a scrapyard and a fever dream, she was parched, dizzy, and dangerously close to committing heresy by accepting a cup of something called galactic energy drink. Tea, she muttered. Just tea. Hot water, bag, dignity. Surely not too much to ask in this godforsaken spaceship bazaar. That's when she saw it. A sign gleaming across the hall in swirling gold letters. The Superhero Cafe. Tea, toast and amp, treats. Her weary eyes focused only on the word tea. The rest she dismissed as nonsense. Finally, she breathed, patting her handbag. Civilization. She shuffled across the floor, narrowly avoiding a man in a foam dragon tail, and approached the cafe entrance, which was designed like a comic book diner. Neon lights, red stools, and a full-size cardboard cutout of a muscular man in spandex, giving a heroic thumbs up over a pile of muffins. Bit showy for a parish cafe, she murmured. But at least they're enthusiastic. Inside, every table was packed with people in masks and capes, the kind of crowd that might frighten a lesser pensioner. But Mabel had survived the Kent bingo riots of '83. She simply found an empty seat beside a man dressed as something vaguely resembling a patriotic lobster. He nodded politely. Excelsior. I'm sorry? It's what my character says. Right, said Mabel. In my day, we just said good morning. The waiter, a cheerful young woman with silver hair and lightning bolts painted across her cheeks, approached. Welcome to the Superhero Cafe. Can I start you off with a Justice Latte or a Krypton Cappuccino? Mabel frowned. Do you have PG tips? We've got an infinity blend. Does it come with milk? It can come with cosmic foam? Then it's not tea, Mabel said firmly. It's a dessert in crisis. Toast, please. Brown. And jam that's seen fruit recently. The waitress blinked. We don't do toast, just hero sandwiches. Fine, Mabel said, waving her hand. Hero sandwich, as long as it doesn't come wearing tights. From the next table, a tall man in a cape and green mask leaned over. Excuse me, ma'am, but tights are essential for aerodynamic combat. Mabel eyed him. So's common sense, dear, you've got neither. Cal, who had been following her like an excitable puppy with a camera, nearly dropped his phone laughing. Mabel, this is gold. You've just insulted the Green Avenger. I assumed that was his skin condition, Mabel said. The man huffed, dramatically flipping his cape. Some of us take heroism seriously. Well, some of us take cholesterol seriously, she replied. And yet here we both are, waiting for tea. The cafe erupted in laughter. A small crowd began filming again. Mabel sighed, the price of fame, apparently. Moments later, her hero sandwich arrived, an alarming structure of bright red bread, blue cheese, and something glowing faintly green. What in blazes is this? It's our signature kryptonite melt, said the waitress. Lovely, I'll dye fashionable. She poked it cautiously with her knife. If my Nigel ever served me something this color, I'd have him sectioned. Cal leaned over. You're doing great, Mabel. People love you online. You're a meme now. I beg your pardon, but that sounds contagious. No, it means people are sharing clips of you everywhere. Well, tell them to stop. I haven't had my hair done. From the counter, someone shouted, Granny of the Galaxy! Mabel stiffened. I don't appreciate mockery during mealtimes. No, seriously. The barista held up a phone showing a video thumbnail, her, waving her tote bag at a stormtrooper, mid-lecture. The caption read, Never cross Granny. The video had millions of views. Good heavens, she said softly. I look like I'm about to scold the universe. Cal grinned. That's the point, you're iconic. Iconic? I'm 82. The only icon I need is on a prayer candle. The Green Avenger raised his mug. To Granny of the Galaxy, the entire cafe joined in. To Granny, Mabel flushed, a mix of horror and secret delight. Oh, stop that, you'll make me blush. You already have fan art, Cal added. Someone's drawn you riding a mobility scooter through space. Really? She said, deadpan. Do I look thrilled? Actually, yes, Cal said, showing her the picture. She peered at the screen. Her illustrated self wore sunglasses, a cape, and knitting needles that shot laser beams. It was absurd. It was ridiculous. It was rather good. She said, pretending not to smile. They've made my ankles too dainty. Cal laughed. You're enjoying this. I'm enduring it, she corrected, though her eyes betrayed her. At that moment, the door swung open and in strutted Evie March, 79, glamorous and terrifyingly confident, wearing a sequined gown and carrying a paperback titled Lust Among the Asteroids. Mabel Kensington, she announced, voice like a trumpet. So the rumors are true. You've invaded my convention. Oh, it's you, said Mabel flatly. The woman who nearly poisoned the bishop with her lemon drizzle in 1972. It was moist, Evie snapped. It was lethal. Cal whispered. Who's that? Trouble with lipstick, Mabel said. Evie placed her book dramatically on the table. I've come to promote my novel, A Tale of Passion Among the Stars. You've stolen my thunder. Good, Mabel said. You always had too much of it. The cafe crowd watched, spellbound. It was like a West End play in slow motion. Only one performer had varicose veins, and the other had a vendetta. Evie smirked. You may be trending, Mabel, but remember this. Fame fades, wrinkles don't. True, Mabel said, sipping her tea. But mine are natural, yours are structural damage. Gasps. Laughter. Phone's out again. Evie twitched. You haven't changed. Neither has your lemon drizzle. It's still a hate crime. Cal mouthed silently, legendary. As Evie stormed out, tripping on a cape someone had left hanging, Mabel sighed contentedly. Well, that was invigorating. You just started a fandom war, Cal said. Good, it'll distract them from the sandwich. Mabel pushed her kryptonite melt away, fished out a pack of digestive biscuits from her handbag, and placed one daintily on a napkin. Now, she said, pouring her thermos of tea. That's how a real superhero fuels up. The Green Avenger raised his mug again. You really are something, Granny. She smiled faintly. Yes, dear, a menace with a tea set. As laughter filled the cafe, Mabel gazed at the crowd. All these strangers in masks and tights, laughing together over something silly, something shared. Maybe, she thought, that's what humanity still had going for it. Ridiculous hope, expressed in spandex and caffeine. Cal caught her glance. You okay? Yes, she said softly. For the first time in a long while, I think I am. She sipped her tea, perfectly content amid the chaos, and muttered under her breath. Still preferred Jam to Galaxies, though. That night, the internet crowned her again. The clip of her in the cafe, scolding a man in tights while dunking a biscuit, became the most shared video of the week. The caption read, "Tea, toast, and tights. Granny saves the galaxy again." And somewhere deep down, Mabel began to wonder. Maybe, just maybe, she wasn't done saving things yet.